podcast studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends.
Hey now. Hi.
Here I is.
You're back.
I'm back.
How was Vegas?
Oh my gosh, so amazing. Honestly, it was such a good trip.
It was interesting because I was watching it all unfold on your timeline and I could follow, oh boy, speakeasy. And then you went here and you went there. And I have so many questions. So we should let people know Sandra Zisckind from Diamond and Diamond Lawyers is going to be coming up in a few minutes. We're going to talk to Sandra about Halloween and a few other things. But first, let's talk about Vegas. The Sphere is much, much bigger than it looks on TV.
It's so huge. It's humongous.
It holds like, how many people? Like 20,000 or something like that?
Yeah, it's like something around there, yes. And so I went, for those who were wondering, like, what concert did you go to? So aside from the concerts that they have, those are kind of specialty programs. That's the venue that they're hoping to get more people into. But they actually have daily shows twice a day where they will play you what they spent a lot of money on, one of which is called Postcard from Earth. So that is what I watched. And it just basically takes you through scenes from space to Earth, nature, humans. There's a storyline to it. I won't give too much away. But the bottom line is they filmed it in 18K. What the hell even is that? But my eyes were actually like confused. Like it was that amazing. Like it was incredible. The Sphere itself, so when you go in there, it's massive, but much like any other place where you have to go up levels to get to your seat, etc., you know, there's lots of elevators, it's spacious, everything else. But on the main area inside, I think most impressive for me was Aura. Aura are the robots that are inside the Sphere.
I've seen those things. They look very lifelike, like a human with no skin.
It's the most human-like robot, although there's a lot in production right now, other things happening. But it is one of the most human-like robots that there are. But it was so great because I was watching this thing talk to several people. And you could ask it any questions you want. There's someone who's there basically who's like a caretaker for each robot. There's 5 of them available to chat with. So it's not like you're really fighting too many people to fight with them. There's lots of space in between. And you can ask whatever you want, like I said. So there's a microphone and everything so everyone can hear what you're going to ask. But the cameras are in the eyes. So she'll literally pan around you when you're talking to her and she'll say, "What's your name?" "Benjamin, that's a nice name." And then all of a sudden you see the eyes shift to beside you and there's someone beside you. "Who's this you're with? Who is that in relation to you?" Like, and just like asking questions like, "Oh, that's nice. What are you in Vegas for?" Like, just it's just weird, but cool. But so freaking cool.
Do these robots do anything but ask questions and give information? Like, can they get you a drink or carry you to your seat or help you find your car afterwards?
Not those ones, no. Although we did go to the Tipsy Robot, which are robots that make your drink in Vegas.
I saw that too.
Yeah, those are cool.
Do they charge extra when there's no human making a drink?
They charge extra because it's Vegas. They charge extra for everything because it's Vegas. It's very expensive.
I hate that, by the way.
It's very expensive. But yeah, so the Sphere, very cool. Definitely recommend. I warn you though, some people said they felt dizzy. I didn't necessarily feel dizzy, but the seats are very steep. Like it's a very steep setting because they have the screen from the bottom going all the way to the top above your head. My tip for you, if you want to go to the Sphere, sit dead in the middle. Those prices are higher, but they're higher for a reason. They are better seats. Do not hurt your neck by being on the bottom. And at the very top, it's cool. You could also see pretty well, but be in the middle is what I'm trying to say. Very cool.
Okay. Where did you go for your anniversary dinner on Monday?
So anniversary dinner, Monday night, we ended up going to Nobu. Although we were going to go to Benihana, we actually canceled the reservations at Benihana because we got a little too tipsy at Vanderpump during the day.
Oh, yeah. Day drinking, right?
Isn't this, like, honestly, like, this is...
It's the trap of Vegas.
What is my life? So we went to Vanderpump as well. So both days, I went to Vanderpump and Nobu in the same day. But my brother and his wife, they were leaving that day. So they wanted to be sent off in good fashion. So I was like, of course, let's go somewhere fun. And we were eyeing Vanderpump because it's a gorgeous place. Lisa Vanderpump, I think most people know who she is, at least the socialite. She's got restaurants. It is honestly worth every penny. Vanderpump. And I won't say that about a lot of places in Vegas. Like, oh, the price tag's pretty good. You get a copious amount of foods. We just shared a few apps, and we were pretty well stuffed. The drinks were very cool, very beautiful presentation. Service was excellent. It's what you would expect it to be, though. But the place is gorgeous, fresh flowers, beautiful for photos, et cetera, et cetera. This is the one in the Paris. There's also one in Caesars. And she's opening another one called Pinky's in the Flamingo.
Oh, wow. Perfect for the Flamingo.
There you go.
Pinkies. Hey, what are the prices like? If you want to order a martini or something like that, What is that going to cost you?
Oh, at least $25 US.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like the going rate for a drink. Yeah.
The irony is, in Vegas, you can go and buy a 26er at any convenience store for less than that.
Yeah, for sure. No, but these were, we only went to places that had like the premium cocktails because that's what we wanted. Every single place we went to, the speakeasies, everything was always premium, actual bar service. We didn't go to any, I didn't go to any Joe Schmo place. If I got anything quickly, it was in like the cafe downstairs. Fine, let's just get a quick salad or something like that. But otherwise, when I was dining, I wanted premium cocktails. That's what you go to Vegas for sure.
Okay, all right.
That was incredible. Nobu was excellent. Like I said, we ended up canceling Benihana just because it was far from there and we were drunk and we just wanted to stay close. So we went to Nobu.
It's also Nobu. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Nobu.
It was fantastic. And yeah, Sphere was everything was excellent. Stayed at the Paris, which is where we got married, and they treated us so kindly. They actually gave us a better room than what we initially booked because they knew it was our anniversary, which was very nice of them.
An upgrade.
A little bit of an upgrade, yeah, which is nice.
Okay, coming up, we're going to talk about Halloween. Actually, we're going to talk to Sandra about Halloween in just seconds, but I want to let you know that after that, we're going to discuss Starbucks, who just announced some big changes yesterday, and we're going to talk about accommodations, but accommodations here in Ontario, where we record this podcast. Because I guess some Taylor Swift fans are pointing out that hotels in Toronto are now charging 10 times the normal going rate for the nights that Taylor Swift is here. So that and more coming up. But first, let's make this call.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi.
Sandra.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay, good.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Sandra, I'm wondering, we thought that this was a perfect day to talk to you because one of the things that you are really good at is personal injury. And it seems like we're ripe for these sort of things to happen on a night like Halloween, particularly when it's raining and there's 60-kilometer-per-hour winds. So can we ask you a couple questions about Halloween here?
Please.
What happens if some kid or their parents is walking up your driveway and you got a real slippery pile of leaves there, and they bail, they fall down and get hurt? They can sue you for that, can't they?
100%. You have a responsibility as a homeowner to keep your driveway, your walkway clear, and to keep it so that it's not a hazard. So if you're inviting people on your onto your driveway, which you essentially are during Halloween, especially if you have your house lit up and you have the decorations out, you better make sure that it's clear and it's safe.
But I mean, it's fall and it's windy and there's leaves blowing around. I couldn't possibly control all the leaves that a kid might slip on, could I?
Right. So the standard is not perfection, much like ice and snow in Canada. So it's not a standard of perfection. So you're not going to get rid of every leaf. But if it's like you show that you took reasonable measures, like at 6 p.m. you swept off all the leaves, you put down something so that it doesn't stick. You took reasonable measures to make sure people don't fall. That's enough.
You know what I'm worried about is I've got these big inflatables on my lawn. I've got a ghost and a little family of pumpkins and stuff. And while I'm not worried about those falling on somebody, they wouldn't hurt if they did. I'm worried about the little anchors that you put them into the grass with. I feel like I got to do something to cover those up. I don't want somebody to trip and sue me.
Yeah. And make sure that things are anchored in properly, especially with the 60-mile-per-hour winds, so that they don't go flying and knock into somebody.
Yeah.
That would be my other advice.
If my ghost blows over to the neighbor's yard and goes through the window or something, I assume they have a legitimate complaint against me.
You never know.
Legitimate, very legitimate, Scott. I'm thinking about the weather too, Sandra. So I was looking at the forecast. Not going to be great. We know it gets darker earlier. With that said, some places are going to experience a decent amount of rain, and with that, we know visibility is poor for those driving. Does it happen often? And gosh, we always try to give those warnings, right? We do our best when we're on the radio, even like, hey guys, be careful. You know, there's kids running around, but there's truly are people who are very distracted while they're driving to begin with. So weather will be a factor in that, I'd imagine.
Well, listen, tonight, more than any other night during the year, everybody should be driving slowly and carefully and really watching out. Never mind the weather for sure, but second of all, you have costumes, you have people in masks, you have the visibility of the children are lower unless people are putting reflective tape on it, which a lot of people aren't because the teenagers, as mine tells me every single day, that's not cool, but then you can't see them.
Kids are great, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's so rewarding. So, so yeah, now today more than any other day, everyone just needs to go super, super, super slow and be super aware, especially just on the side residential streets, because it's just a nightmare, and it's just and things are just waiting to happen. And listen, parents, if you're going out with kids and your kids don't want to wear the reflective, you at least wear the reflective so somebody's seeing something.
Good. That's great advice. Now, I'm also wondering. You hear all these claims, namely in the U.S., about restaurants having these type of issues. Let's say, for example, I throw a Mars bar into some kid's bag and it's a little hard or stale or something, and the kid breaks a tooth. Can they sue me for that?
No, I think you're going to be safe for anything like that, as long as you didn't tamper with it or do anything for it. That's all fine. I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay, excellent. All good stuff for Halloween, Sandra. While we have you, can I just ask you about the latest in the Menendez case?
Sure.
Okay, so we were talking this morning. TMZ is the one that's obtaining all the information, however they get it. But there are some reports that claim that the brothers could be out by Christmas if everything goes their way with their lawyer, and getting them basically a chance at parole, which could see them out before Christmas. Have you? I assume you've been paying attention to all of this.
I am. I have such mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like they probably shouldn't have got this sentence to begin with, and they should have used the mitigating factors of the sexual assault to begin with. But at the same time, only if Kim Kardashian knows your name, all of a sudden you get out early? Like, it feels wrong somehow.
Yes.
The Ryan Murphy thing, I know.
What?
Yes.
Netflix gets interested and these guys get out of jail a few months later. It's weird.
Correct. And what about, and these are people from a privileged background. It just feels wrong. I'm thinking about all the people in the U.S. who get harsher sentences because of their skin color, because of their status, and nobody's championing for them. It sort of feels icky. At the same time, I also feel bad. I also feel like they shouldn't have got this sentence to begin with, but I don't know why. The prosecutor refused to deal with it from day one, refused to deal with the mitigating circumstances of the abuse from day one. And look, they got a judgment, right? For better or for worse, they got a judgment, and they did kill 2 people. There are mitigating circumstances. It is very difficult, but they did get a judgment. I don't know. I go back and forth. And as far as I know, there's no such thing where we have in Canada that you can revisit a sentence. Like, that's a very U.S. animal that we don't have. But that being said, also, we also always have the possibility of parole, whereas unless you're a dangerous offender, in the States, they don't. So here you're always being reviewed, and, you can always get parole after 25 years or however long the judge sentences you.
Got it. Another lawsuit was filed in New York just the other day by a woman who ordered on the Subway app the steak and cheese sub. And when she got to the store to pick up the steak and cheese sub, she realized, the steak and cheese sub in the picture seems to have a lot more steak on it. So she's filed a class action lawsuit and is trying to recruit more people to join in her quest to sue Subway because the sandwiches don't have enough meat on them or not as much as implied in the picture. Is that a legitimate complaint or a good use of the court's time? Really?
It actually is. There's been many people sued. I believe, oh my goodness, my brain is not working this morning, but it was McDonald's or Burger King that was sued because the burgers in the commercials looked bigger and juicier than they did in real life. And that's essentially false advertising. You are not allowed to falsely advertise. You know what they do when they do these commercials? Like, they gloss them, they make them look bigger and juicier so that it gets a Pavlovian response in all of us, so we run out and buy it.
Yep.
I mean, it's stupid. I understand what everyone's saying. Like, they kind of get it, but you're not allowed to falsely advertise. You're not allowed to say, I'm giving you X and you're going to get Y. And the damages are nothing. The damages are the cost of the sub. But now take it across hundreds of thousands of people. You're talking about a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the Subway lawsuit that happened about the footlong, right? It's supposed to be a footlong, and then people were taking out their measuring tapes, and they won that one too. So, I mean, there's definitely some legitimacy to that. So I would say companies have to be very, very aware of it if they aren't already.
Well, listen, companies, when they do these sort of things, always do a cost-benefit analysis. They have actuaries that sit down and figure out. It's the same thing like the cars. When you know you have a defective car, right? They do an actuarial analysis whether or not the cost of the litigation outweighs the cost of marketing the car. And it's a very cynical way of doing things, but that's how consumer products are done. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're sophisticated agents. They just do a cost-benefit analysis of what's better for them at the end of the day.
Got it.
Is there a double? Just one more thing on this. Sorry, we promise we'll let you go. I know you have many important things to do.
No, I've got questions. Don't you try and end this early.
My costume. Don't ask what I have to do.
I'm curious about when it comes to these lawsuits, though. I mean, I think about the one Subway that we mentioned, or even this one here. If this goes through where, hey, the picture has more meat and this doesn't have as much meat, is there like a double jeopardy rule? Like, can I come along next and say, well, I want to sue too because I think the same thing as that person?
Well, no. So when you have a class action lawsuit, it would include everybody up until that point.
Yeah.
So let's say I filed a class action lawsuit today. It would be everyone who experienced the harm before this day. If they rerun the commercial after this day, it could give rise to a new lawsuit.
Got it.
Keep your receipts for everything in case someone sues for something you guys bought, I think is the moral of that story.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, my dogs are getting very angry at somebody crossing the street.
No worries. My dog does the same thing. It's good to have some extra eyes on the street. World Series the other night. Mookie Betts went to catch a ball, and it was going into the fan area. He reached in and caught it. But then a fan reached into his glove and took the ball out of his glove, and another fan grabbed him by the arm. Now I'm hearing that if he wanted to, he could have that fan charged. And I'm wondering, what's the line here when you go to a sporting event? If a pop fly gets hit to where I'm sitting, am I allowed to catch it, or do I have to leave it if one of the players is coming for it?
Well, I think the etiquette rule is that you let the player catch it. You're not supposed to get it. In terms of a lawsuit, and that will mess with obviously the game. But in terms of a lawsuit, once somebody's caught it, you're not allowed to touch people. It's as simple as that. Any touch that's not wanted, warranted, or asked for is an assault. So that's the line with that particular thing. Etiquette on a field is, you don't interfere. And technically, I believe, from what I understand, you can get thrown out of the stadium for interfering with a play and been banned from the stadium for life if you interfere with a play. That's sort of the discretion of the stadium. But if you sort of interfere, reach out, and you're literally interfering with the play, you could be banned from the stadium for life.
Wow. I think that that's great advice, and I think that everybody should heed that advice, just generally in life. Don't touch anybody.
Generally, like, don't touch people.
Don't touch anybody.
Do it.
Just don't, unless they say touch me,
them.
don't do it.
Don't do it. Get a signed contract first, and then you can do it. And Scott, that's especially for you. No, I'm just joking.
I've got 2 of those consent
he knows.
apps. It's great.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The one I drafted you is fine. Use that one.
You're the best. Sandra Zisckind from Diamond & Diamond Lawyers. People can get a hold of you at what phone number?
1-800-567-HURT.
Or go to diamondlaw.ca if you've got legal questions. Sandra and her team are world class, and they will be happy to help you. Thanks a lot, Sandra.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sandra's great.
Love her. Okay, so let's get to a couple other things on this episode. How's our time, by the way?
We have a few minutes.
Okay, so Starbucks is in the news.
Yes.
The smartest thing Starbucks has done in probably the last 15 years was hire this new CEO. And if you don't know, they said, you know what? We're losing money here. We need a change in leadership. It's good for a company to realize, oh boy, we need to change it up at the top. So they did. They went out and stole the CEO of Chipotle, and they made him the CEO of Starbucks. And he's been fairly quiet until now. We'd heard that he was a real go-getter, and he was a smart dude, and he knows how to run quick-serve restaurants. Well, holy cow.
Yeah.
He's come out with some changes that I think people are generally going to like. Number 1, no more upcharge for non-dairy milk products.
I didn't even really realize, because I'm not one to go for the oat milk or the almond milk, but I didn't even realize they were being upcharged for it, which didn't seem to make sense to me. So I'm okay with that. And by the way, this guy took his time because he was reflecting and he was researching. He was doing his job, really, and figuring out why people go to Starbucks and why people do not go to Starbucks in order to come up with this. So that was one of the reasons why people said, why am I paying more? It doesn't make sense for me because my dietary restrictions, I can't have this. I feel sick having this. So if you're going to charge me more, I'm going to go elsewhere. So that's good. Okay, one thing done.
He also wants to make Starbucks back into a cafe. Here. You know, it wasn't that long ago that you would, if you wanted to meet up with a friend, hey, let's go to Starbucks and grab a coffee. Now, that's the last place I want to go to get a coffee because the place is a goddamn zoo most of the time.
It's a zoo, and it's also like it's not it used to be a comfy spot, and I'm glad it seems like he wants them to go back in that direction of being a comfy, cozy spot. I used to meet up with friends there, and I remember there were literally couches. At least the one close to my house, there's no more couches anymore. It's tables and chairs, and it's very clinical feeling.
Yeah.
In a way, like it's not cozy anymore. So he wants to go back to the coziness, and I'm there for it.
I also wouldn't mind moving some of the shopping stuff into another area instead of where the sitting area is. You know, it's real frustrating when you just want to sit and work on your laptop and drink a coffee, and you've got people browsing through the mugs and trying to figure out, oh, do you have this in a different color? And fuck off. I'm trying to work here.
There should be a separate store because some do have it at the front, but even at the front, I find it to be annoying because if I'm going to pick up a mobile order or something, same thing. I'm moving my way through people who are staring at the Christmas collection. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate you for that. I also like the Christmas collection. However, I'm just trying to get my coffee. So I think, honestly, little Starbucks stores inside wouldn't be a bad idea either. If he's taking suggestions, which he's not from us.
No. He could, though. He seems like he wants to make the company better, and I'm all in favor of that. He's also made some menu changes, namely the Starbucks Oleato olive oil infused beverages are going to be discontinued from most locations beginning next week. Okay, so I don't have anything personal to back this up. It's only anecdotal and what I've read online. But there's certainly a lot of people who have suggested that when you drink the Oleato, the coffee with the olive oil infused, you're basically drinking a laxative. Apparently, it'll shoot right through you.
Oh, gross.
It is gross.
Not to mention, like, I don't want to drink oil. Like, I love oil in food. That's fine. But I don't want to drink oil. I've actually tried that. They've given us a sample. It's not for me. But I know in some cultures and things like that, it's very popular.
The other thing he wants to do, and again, I'm in favor of this as well, he says right now, half of their transactions are completed in 4 minutes or less. He wants to remove the bottlenecks and try and get all transactions to 4 minutes or less. That would be from the time you place your order to the time the barista hands you your order, 4 minutes. If he can do that, he's like into McDonald's territory. It's that quick.
Yeah, and
it might even be faster than some McDonald's.
So there's certain reasons why I will wait longer at Starbucks, and it is the happiness of the staff. Like, that is why, because they're going to be in a good mood, and I will get good quality stuff. But the wait is probably my biggest complaint. So if he's saying that he can shorten that, now it doesn't mean that before you order, you're not going to wait many more minutes before the 4. But if they can promise that from order to when you go, it's going to be no more than 4 minutes, I like it.
He says there are some things bottlenecking up the system. He says inadequate staffing, slow ovens, and overly complex menus are what prevents some people from getting their order in 4 minutes or less. So let's go through those. Number one, if one of the issues here is inadequate staffing, yeah, that's a big issue. You should know when your place is busy and when it's not, and you should staff appropriately.
That's legitimate for any company, sure.
Then we've got an overly complex menu. Is it time for Starbucks to change the menu to just say small, medium, and large? Because even though they've been around for 30 plus years, people still can't figure out venti, grande, and tall.
That's fine though, but it shouldn't take up that much time. I'm thinking more about all the mods that people make. Like, if we are the ones that have to kind of suck it up and make some changes, is it the mods? Is there such thing as making too many mods in a drink? Because I think about the baristas who have to, go by whatever this person says, which is double shaken, this cup, stir twice, stevia in, you know what I mean? Half cream, half milk, plus 2 pumps of this and that and the next thing. Is that taking up too much time?
Baristas are good. For some reason, they've got an incredible ability to retain what goes in various drinks and the orders that they were just given. So full credit to them. I don't know how much that slows them down, but I do think that part of the issue here is there are a lot of people who don't understand it. They'll go in and, I'd like a mocha. And then the barista will say something like, okay, well, would you like whip? They're like, oh, okay, what's in a mocha? Like they've ordered something because it looks like they might have seen it or heard a friend mention a macchiato before, so they ordered one, and then they realize, oh, actually, I wanted something hot, not cold, or cold, not hot, and the whole thing gets screwed up because there are still a lot of people who don't get the menu.
I wish more people would use the app, though.
Oh, me too.
They'll like order in advance. Man, that saves so much time. Honestly, do it and you feel great. You feel like VIP styles when you know. Sometimes you don't know and it's a last minute decision to turn into a Starbucks and get a drink. I get it. I've been there. But when you can, order in advance on the app. It is so much better.
The other issue is slow ovens. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want the sous vide egg bites, if you want the sandwich and you want it heated up, they stick it in an oven. And sometimes it takes a while for the oven to reheat. Or get to the right temperature.
Yeah, that part that he was mentioning was interesting to me because what does take a long time? Like if we're not talking about drinks, I thought all the food was pretty much pre-done and ready to go. Nothing is assembled there.
No.
Am I correct? Like it's the cookies are all pre-packaged. The egg bites you do pop into that heater thing, but it makes them too fucking hot. So maybe we could do something. It's true. Maybe we could do something about that because usually their stuff comes out way too hot.
It takes like an hour before you can eat it.
You burn your face off.
If this guy does revamp Starbucks, if he does get their sales back to where they were, he's a corporate hero. Good on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I would suggest to him, and this is just my opinion, sir, your biggest issue is not the baristas. I think that's the best thing about Starbucks is the staff. It's not the selection. It's not the menu. It's not the oven. Your biggest problem at Starbucks is the price. And if you can find a way to bring the price of just regular coffee down a little bit, you can go ahead and charge all you want for some handcrafted whipped beverage that takes 20 minutes to make. Go ahead and charge whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But if somebody just wants a coffee with milk, or if they just want something basic, even an Americano, we're talking coffee and hot water. It really shouldn't cost $6, the same as some of the other espressos and cappuccinos and macchiatos and everything else.
I think that would be honestly a very, very smart move of them. If they just made like your Pike Places and your Northern Brew, all the, you know what, even the Christmas blend, because all that's pre-done. There's nothing to it other than whatever you're putting in your drink. Make that cheaper, and they'd probably be amazed at how much more foot traffic that they do get. Because for me, even when McDonald's lowered their prices of their coffee recently, I've been going there way more.
Yeah.
Because it's $2.50 for the coffee that I get at Tim Hortons. It's under $2 for the same size at McDonald's. I don't know. Like for me, that makes sense. If they want to lower it and make it even $2, like meet them somewhere in the middle and say, but it's only for this blend, like 3 regular blends, I think that they'll be astonished at how much more traffic they get through the doors.
The Taylor Swift Canadian shows are coming up in just a few weeks, and I don't know why this just came to everyone's attention now, but apparently the prices they're charging for hotels and short-term rentals are unbelievable. Some accommodations during the November and December shows, December is out in Vancouver, are going for 10 times more than a regular weekend. As an example, if you had tickets for the Taylor Swift show first weekend in Toronto, the same hotel room that typically costs $240 a night, even that's high, $240 a night, is now going for over $2,000 a night. Now, there's a defense for this, if you can defend it. The executive director of the Consumer Council of Canada says dynamic pricing is often applied aggressively in the travel and hospitality industry since provisions about what constitutes price gouging are not well defined. What most people would call gouging, they call surge pricing, and they get rewarded for gouging. 10 times the regular price is absolutely obnoxious. $2,000 a night to see Taylor Swift? Come on.
I'm not surprised by any of it. And to be honest, I don't even hate it. You know, they're a business like any other business. They're not necessarily, like, I understand some people think, well, they're being taken advantage of with these prices. But did you not assume that this would happen? Like, to me, this is kind of a part of business, isn't it? You want something? I've got it. You really want it bad? I can charge you more for it. That's kind of the way it is. It astonishes me that it astonishes other people. Like, it sucks because either way, no matter which way you slice it, no matter what you're going to do, if you're going to see Taylor Swift, good for you, you got tickets. So either you got them purchased for you, you bought them yourself, you saved up for it, whatever, you're in. It's going to suck getting there and back, period. Whether it means the stupid fees you're going to have to pay, not to mention on top of those rates that you're mentioning for the hotels, there's always going to be extra fees that are going to be added onto that. Mm-hmm. It's going to be parking as well, because that's always an extra charge. The last time I parked at a Toronto hotel, I was charged $100 to park my car overnight. So that was an extra $100, boom, right off the bat.
That's insane.
But that's the way it is now when you go to these places and you take part in these activities. I have a friend who has an apartment. It's a little closer to Scotiabank Arena, but they're literally like moving out of the place for the week because of Taylor Swift, and they're making so much effing money renting their apartment out on Airbnb for 1 week.
It's exploitative. And I'll give you an example of why. I mean, people in this area will probably just commute to or from the show if they're going to the show. People that are flying in for this show, we're going to screw them as hard as they can possibly be screwed. 10 times the price is ridiculous. So let me just tell you, everyone, if you were coming to Toronto for the Taylor Swift show, to stay in downtown Toronto, some hotels are charging $2,000 obnoxious dollars a night. So let me give you a suggestion. We have what's called the GO train, and there is a Lakeshore line. That is the line that runs parallel to Lake Ontario. And if you take that train, it will literally take you right to Rogers Centre. If you want to stay in Burlington, which is about a half-hour train ride from the Rogers Centre, you can stay at the Holiday Inn Express for $144 a night. Less than a tenth of the price in Toronto. You can stay at the Holiday Inn Burlington for $170 a night. Holiday Inn and Suites Oakville, $170 a night. The Haven Inn. It doesn't look like the nicest place, but it's $85 a night. Buy yourself a train ticket for $12, get a hotel room for $144, and do not pay anybody $2,000 a night to sleep.
The people who are flying in, though, I mean, they're already paying an obnoxious price to fly in and go see Taylor Swift. I don't know. I just don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I don't. But it does suck when you do want to go to see a show and you just truly like an artist and that's what you want to do. So it sucks that we're all in that position now where it's like, guess what? You want to see someone you like? Easy $1,000 night. Like easy $1,000 night if you want to actually stay in town and go. And I'm talking about people that aren't Taylor Swift. So yes, the prices are going to be stupid. The price of the food. Wait till you go get food. Wait till you see the lineups to get a fucking coffee. It's going to be insanity. But know that. That's what I mean by it's going to suck. No matter, like the before and after of it all, you're going to maybe hopefully make friends or feel okay with it in whatever way that is for you. Be with the people that you love if that's the case. But aside from that, it's going to suck. Keep that in mind.
How's our time?
We're done.
Done? Okay.
Yeah.
I know that some people are. I'm not going to talk about the politics stuff. I did that for a week, and I'm done with it for a little while. But tomorrow on After 9, I will tell you a little bit about what I learned yesterday that has to do with the potential for a fall election. What I learned basically is there's no circumstance where it's going to happen. Like absolutely no voting before Christmas. So we'll talk about that and more in tomorrow's episode of After 9. Plus, I think Dave Lazard is joining us again because he's done screwing around. I hope, anyway.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen him in a long time either. Yeah, okay.
Have a happy Halloween. Happy Diwali if you're celebrating Diwali. And we will catch you right back here tomorrow.
Bye, friends.